Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to Controlled Chaos Gaming. It's Andy here, and we've got our next episode of Controlled Chaos Gaming's VGC. This is against Mikel and the the Wicked Delphox of the West. Should be fun. We are currently 6 wins and 1 loss, so we are guaranteed into the top cut. However, we're looking for really good placement here, so that is why we would love to win this game. Obviously, just winning in general is nice, but you know, it's nice to win with a 2-0 victory if possible. I'm a little tired still, recovering a little bit, but let's get into these games. So it looks like he's going to send out Gallade and the Bruxish there. Bruxish has the ability Dazzling, which will actually prevent any priority moves, which is kind of cool. And I think we're just going to go ahead and Terror right off the bat, get rid of that Gallade, hopefully, and we're going to try and set Trick Room for our Camerupt in the back. All right, here we go. So King Gambit going to turn into that Fairy type here. Super good into Mikel's team as well. So that should be nice. As Taunt is going to come off, so that is going to prevent me from using Trick Room. Totally fine. As we're going to get a awesome hit off, as Secret Sword does very little damage. So Terra Blast right here is going to take it down to a Focus Sash if it has it. Actually doesn't. Interesting. Alrighty here, so we're just going to protect here, pretty safe, and we're going to finish up that Gallade. So we are taunted now, which means we cannot use Trick Room, but I know that Mikel can actually not switch out his Pokemon because they are not Ghost types. So Protect getting off there. Free, Protect. Ooh, his Reflect is the choice. Very nice. So Mikel, one of those guys that really surprises you with kind of unorthodox stuff. So really excited to see him use that Bruxish to its fullest of capabilities. Here we go. Psychic is definitely going to finish off that Gallade, and I assume we'll see either Weavile or Gyarados in the back. Gyarados, a stronger Pokemon, so it's really nice to get that going, but it is actually going to be the Weavile, so there we go. And I think I'm just going to go for the Terra Blast, try not to show him anything too crazy, and we will switch into Tauros and get that Intimidate off and reset the Taunt. My team does have quite a few priority moves, so that is interesting to note. Fake out into the King Gambit, totally fine, as it is Life Orb revealed, and Wave Crash is going to be the choice. Let's see how much this does. Yeah, it does very little to the King Gambit, so that's good for me. As King Gambit does flinch. Totally fine. We're going to fire off that Terra Blast once again, and I think we will go for a Raging Bull. I don't know. We might go for the Close Combat into the... Let's see. We'll just go for the Terra Blast into that Bruxish, actually, and we're going to go for the Close Combat into the Weavile. This is going to absolutely obliterate Weavile, but it looks like it's going to be the Mega Fish. So Gyarados is actually going to come in. Really good switch on his end, getting an Intimidate on both of my Pokemon. Oh, I forgot about Defiant. You know what? Hopefully he did too. As Wave Crash is not going to take a knockout. We saw how much damage it did last time. No crits. Taking a little bit of recoil, and that Terra Blast is going to do a lot. Of course, Close Combat's going to do very little. So, very nice switch for Mikel there. This Terra Blast, though, is going to be +1. Let's see how much it does to Bruxish. Bruxish. Very nice. Almost a hit almost a clean KO there. And we're going to try and finish it up with the, I guess, Raging Bull. We're going to protect, of course, our King Gambit. I assume the Gyarados will Terra, but I don't know what it's going to Terra into. Or if he just keeps it as a water type, flying type. As Wave Crash does go into that protect there, let's see what happens. Dragon Dance is the choice on that Gyarados. Can be scary, of course. We do have measures against it. His Raging Bull comes off, knocks out the Bruxish, and breaks Reflect. So very cool. All right, Weavile coming in. I think what we're going to do is go for a Sucker Punch into the Gyarados, and we're going to go for the Close Combat into Weavile, and we're going to see what that Gyarados can do. Obviously, if he uses Fake Out into King Gambit, it means that the Sucker Punch won't go off, so that's totally fine. But if he does not use Fake Out, then I'm curious to see what happens. That's kind of why I chose to use Sucker Punch. And as for the Close Combat, it's just pretty safe to get a knockout onto the Weavile, so we'll see. It's going to be into the Tauros, though. So interesting. So Sucker Punch will go off as long as he didn't use an attack, but it looks like he went for a second Dragon Dance. So very, very nice there for Mikel. Going to +2. A little greedy, but, you know, got to be a little greedy sometimes. We're going to go for that Sucker Punch once again and Close Combat once again into the Weavile. There's nothing really that we need to do because unless he Terras into something and uses like Terra Blast, we're pretty safe, and Sucker Punch is going to go first regardless. Weavile actually can't knock us out with Ice Shard, I don't believe. Although it might be close. We'll have to check. With that Life Orb, it might do a little more damage than I'm thinking. We'll see. Looks like Sucker Punch is not going to go off again. As he Dragon Dances again. He's getting very greedy here. We're going to see what he goes for with the Weavile. If Weavile takes a knockout on King Gambit, yep, it will. That's really good for Mikel. That being said, it's he's going to lose his Weavile. So we'll see what happens here. Close Combat is going to go off into the Weavile. So it is a 1v3 now. So I'm going to go into Gothitelle here. And let's take a look at the status. He is +3 attack, +3 speed. We're going to go ahead and use Fake Out and switch in our Camerupt. Terra is going to go off here. What is the Terra type going to be, though, is the question. Is it going to be Grass type? Is it going to be Dark type? It's going to be Ground type. So it looks like he's going for like an Earthquake strategy. It's actually going to help us with the fact that we can hopefully get in our guy Tauros here and protect our Camerupt. And we'll see if he can predict this. It's going to get an Intimidate, so he's going to go back to +2 in the attack, which is still a lot, of course, but it is going to be significantly lower than +3. And the Earthquake is the choice. How much does this do to Tauros is my question. It actually is going to knock out the Tauros, so interesting there. Knocking out the Tauros. I am down to my last 2 Pokemon, of course. So we'll see what we can do. I'm going to use Fake Out, and I'm going to go for the Eruption. Of course, this is full power Eruption, so we'll see how much it can do. And we'll see if we can pull this out. Yep, it's just enough to get a KO. So the Eruption from that Camerupt enough to knock out the Gyarados, and that is going to be game 1 going to me. That was close, though. The Dragon Dances out of Sucker Punch was a really good play on Michael's end. It was very hard to overcome because I did not think that he was going to Terra, to be honest. Water typing's pretty good into my team, but maybe he thought I had Thunderbolt or something like that, so hopefully one more time. If I get a win here, that would be very nice. Put me up 2-0. And that would be 7 wins and 1 loss, which would be awesome. As the Intimidate is going to come off on the Fluttermane and my Tauros, and Intimidate is going to go right back on him. On the Vivillon and the Gyarados. So I am just going to go ahead and protect the Fluttermane right away and get in my King Gambit. Because I really do not want the Tauros to get put to sleep, and I think that the Vivillon probably has Sleep Powder, if I was to guess. This could give him an opportunity to get up a free Dragon Dance, so I'm a little afraid of that, but we're going to hopefully get around that later in the game. With Sucker Punch and that stuff, you know. We do know he's Ground Terra, though, so that's very nice to know. I'm actually a Steel Terra on the Fluttermane, so it's very nice to get around any moves that are super effective against Fairy, such as Steel or Poison. Tailwind is the choice. Oh, that's really going to hurt me, actually. As this is just going to be an Earthquake fired off into the King Gambit, so... not a great turn for me, I'll admit that much. As King Gambit is going to take a little... Actually, that wasn't very much chip damage, so it's probably a very bulky guy. We're going to go ahead and switch into the Tauros once again, and we are going to Sucker Punch. Actually, we're just going to Iron Head into the Vivillon. I think getting rid of the Vivillon before it can do a lot of sleep stuff is probably the best option. As it is going to be Gallade coming in here. Very nice. And we're going to switch in, of course, our Tauros. And we're going to get an Intimidate on that Gallade now. And, of course, the Vivillon is going to be -2. Not that it really matters. But very nice there. As we see Sleep Powder is the choice into the Tauros. Yeah, I knew that was coming. This thing is very hazardous. So let's see if we can get rid of it. Iron Head does not take it out. We're going to attempt to Aqua Jet. We know that the first turn is guaranteed sleep, and we're also going to go ahead and just protect King Gambit in case any Sacred Swords happen. He could also Psycho Cut my Tauros, which would be kind of bad as well. Just realized that. Yeah, the Tailwind there is super good. Luckily, it's only for a couple more turns. As long as we can stall it out, we're good to go. We just need to make sure that we can get rid of the Vivillon before it can reset up that Tailwind. As Vivillon uses Protect here, totally fine with me. Another Sleep Powder would have been pretty bad. So we're going to protect the King Gambit here. Let's see if Sacred Sword comes off. Tauros is actually faster than Gallade. Is it going for Trick Room? Nope, it is going for the Psycho Cut, so good choice on his end. Going to do a lot of damage to my Tauros, and now we are going to double up onto the Vivillon. Try and take it out with an Iron Head or a Aqua Jet, either one. I am asleep with the Tauros. And Sleep Powder is going to go off on the King Gambit. Yep, that's super annoying here. Let's see what the Gallade goes for. Psycho Cut onto my Tauros. That is going to take a knockout. So this is going to allow me to get in Fluttermane. Let's see if the Tailwind is gone now. It should be gone either this turn or next. Yeah, Tailwind is gone. So we've got a free switch into our Fluttermane here, and Fluttermane is much faster than Vivillon, I think. I'm pretty sure. Fluttermane's very fast. So we're going to see if we can just pick up a... Oops, let's not click things too fast. We're going to... Oh, I do not have Dazzling Gleam. Oh, no. Okay, that's totally fine. We are going to go for the Shadow Ball into the... Do we want to do that? I think we'll go for the Shadow Ball into the Vivillon. We do not want to get put to sleep again, and we are just going to go ahead and try and protect our King Gambit. Get a one-turn wake-up, maybe? We're not quite sure. I guess I probably should have Moonblast to cover for a switch into Weavile. I did not think about that until just now, so let's see. Looks like the Gallade is going to Terra, though. And it is going to Terra into a Psychic type, so very interesting. As we see a Protect from the Vivillon, very nice. Do we get the Protect on the King Gambit? We do not. Okay, so we're probably going to eat a Sacred Sword with our King Gambit here. A Shadow Ball is going to go off into the Vivillon. But it's actually going to be a Psycho Cut, so he is going for the Fluttermane here. It's going to take me down to my Focus Sash, which is, you know, it is what it is. We're going to go for the Moonblast into Vivillon, and I think that with the Toxtricity, and he has already used his Terra, I think it's probably fine to Terra into Fairy and go for the Sucker Punch into the Gallade. So just real quick, I want to make sure I'm clicking the right things. Moonblast into Vivillon and Terra Sucker Punch into Gallade. Let's see it. The Terra is preventing me from getting OHKO'd by something like the Sacred Sword. Of course, we'll see what the Vivillon does. The Vivillon is going to be the big factor in this game, allowing him to put things to sleep and stuff. So it is going to be a Protect, so that's, you know, super good for him. We'll see if he's faster here, as the King Gambit is still asleep, so I'm not revealing my move yet. And Moonblast is going to come off and knock out that Vivillon. That is phenomenal. Very good for me. Fluttermane, such a nuisance for a lot of people. The Weavile is going to come out here, of course, and we're going to see what he does. For the sake of, like, formalities and fake-out stuff, I'm going to double Protect and see what he's doing. This could allow him to get off, like, a Trick Room if he has it, but he hasn't shown it yet on his Gallade. He's only shown Psycho Cut and Sacred Sword, so we're going to see what he goes for here. And that was a guaranteed wake-up from the King Gambit, so we knew that he was going to be able to Protect there, as Fake Out does come out into the King Gambit, and we're going to see what the Gallade was going to go for. Looks like he was going for that Psycho Cut into the Fluttermane. So, alrighty here, let's see what we can do with this turn. We're going to go for the Moonblast into Weavile and the Sucker Punch, of course, into the Gallade. We know that the Weavile is Life Orb, so it is not living. This Moonblast, I'm curious to see if he has Ice Shard, though. Ice Shard is one way to get around it. He's got Fake Out, Icicle Crash, I assume a Dark move, and probably Protect or Ice Shard. So I'm curious to see. It's also interesting the Dark move could be Sucker Punch. So curious. As Sucker Punch comes off, is this a clean KO? It is not. So Gallade's still living there. His Icicle Crash he's actually faster and did not attack the Fluttermane. So I think that might just lose him the game. It's crazy to think that Weavile is that fast, but Weavile was faster than Fluttermane, and I think if he had knocked out Fluttermane there, he would have won the game. But I think now he's just a little behind, especially because of the Pokemon I have in the back. I do have Toxtricity in the back, who is going to knock out that Gyarados very easily, and that's just going to be game over. So now we're just worrying about the the Gallade and Gyarados here, as Defiant is going to proc on our King Gambit. We're going to go for the Shadow Ball into Gallade, and we're going to go for the Sucker Punch into Gyarados. Just in case he goes for some kind of Trick Room shenanigans, we want to make sure that that Gallade is gone, but we also want to make sure that we go before the Gyarados attacks, so we want to use that Sucker Punch move just in case. If he goes for Dragon Dance, that's not that bad of a scenario. Worst case scenario is he protects the Gallade and goes for Dragon Dance. We haven't seen Gallade protect yet, though, so I don't know if that's going to be his move or not. He could also be like Choice Banded or something. He hasn't changed his move at all. As Sucker Punch does fail, okay. Shadow Ball going to go off. It is a Kasib Berry. Interesting. It's not going to do anything with the HP that he is at now, but it is interesting to see that. So now it's Gyarados versus the world. We know he's going for Dragon Dance. We're just going to see how long he can ride it out. I guess technically he can do it, because if he goes for the Earthquake this turn and the Earthquake the following turn, Earthquake of course to knock out Toxtricity, then I think he might win. So we'll see. We'll see if he can do it. If he'd have to go for Earthquake this turn though, and that did a lot of damage. We'll see. Earthquake's going to come off, knock out both my Pokemon, so it's going to come down to who's faster. Toxtricity is Choice Scarfed, and the Gyarados, of course, is at +1, so we're going to see who's faster. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be like a ride or die moment, man. So does a +1 Gyarados outspeed a Choice Scarf Toxtricity? Let's see. It does. Is he going to take the knockout? He does. So Mikel is going to get that game. Actually coming through there. So the Toxtricity is not faster than the Gyarados, which is interesting to note. So good job on Mikel there taking that game. So it is not going to be a 2-0 victory. We're going to see Mikel win that one game, and it's going to come down to a game 3. Mikel's doing very good in the Draft League, of course, as well. Not nearly as good as one of the previous seasons that he got top 8 in, but he is doing pretty good this season. So we're going to see the Vivillon and the Bruxish, so that is perfect for me to just go ahead and fire off the Boom Burst. Boom Burst, of course, the move that you guys did not get to see in the last game, but we're going to do it right now. We're just going to fire off a max power Boom Burst with our Toxtricity, and we've got the Flutter Mane to back it up. This is my gimmick strategy that I usually go in and out of. It's kind of like the Dondozo Tatsugiri, where you're like, if you're not prepared for it, you're going to lose. So we're going to see how much damage this Boom Burst does. Yeah, it's just going to knock out Bruxish, and then Vivillon going down to a Sash, and Flutter Mane will be able to pick it up with Shadow Ball. So that's something that's really crazy to think about, is that your team just sometimes, the gimmicky strategies, if you're not prepared for it, can really do a lot. And just looking at Mikel's team, there's not a lot of things that can take a huge Boom Burst like that. So it's really interesting. Luid. Okay, good choice. Good choice from him, bringing in the guy. The Bramblegast, probably one of the few Pokemon that Toxtricity cannot deal with, of course, because it is a Ghost type. So we're going to go for Boom Burst again because we have to, and Shadow Ball is going to go into the Bramblegast. It's kind of interesting because if he Terras the Bramblegast, then Boom Burst will hit it, but if he doesn't Terra, then Shadow Ball will hit it super effective. So it's it's a lose-lose either way, right? We're sitting really good here. We're going to see, of course, probably the Gyarados go for the Terra. Yep, just in case. But you guys do know that we are Choice Scarfed, so the Boom Burst is going to go off, not the Overdrive. So the Ground-type Terra here, as the Protect comes off from Bramblegast. And we're going to see how much Boom Burst does to the Gyarados. And that is going to be a clean KO. It's a critical hit too, so that's going to knock out the Gyarados. And it's going to be 1 versus 4. So coming in with the busted Toxtricity strats. Looks like it might get us a win. We're going to switch out and we're going to use the Shadow Ball on Luweed. Because we're locked into Boom Burst, so we actually can't hit the Bramble Gas. And then Tauros is going to come in here and get that Intimidate off. As Shadow Ball comes off, is this a KO or not? It shouldn't be a KO. But it is. It's going to be a KO with another critical hit. So absolutely disrespecting with the critical hits there. We do defeat Mikel 4-0 in that one. The Boom Burst Toxtricity strategy is too strong. What can I say? So that was really fun there. I hope you guys really enjoyed that one. That was week 8. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Please make sure to leave a like. Check out the rest of the videos. You do not want to miss them. The whole season has been fantastic this far. So if you're excited for the finals, that's going to be in 3 weeks. Yeah, I don't have anything else. My name is Andy, and this is Controlled Chaos Gaming. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.